I can't believe I'm hearing this point blank. It's craziness here. Absolute craziness. The way we have to ask the question, is Jameis Winston on the trading block? Like, what?
That's silly.
What? I feel like little John over here.
What?
I'm not going to say yeah, though, because that would just be
okay.
the topic. So I've been hearing a lot of things on this lately from people. And again, this is not the Giants. This is just people suggesting it that right football. This is this time of the year that a lot of people start saying and doing all kinds of crazy stuff because, quite frankly, it's a slow time of the year. We've said it here ourselves. Like, we're not going to sit there and BS you guys and make up stuff.
Little smoke up, he took us.
Other people seem to feel the need to. So Joe Mort of Bleacher Report says, Winston's stint in New York would be fun to watch with his personality. However, the Giants must think about the complexion of their quarterback room and how they can squeeze value out of it. Head coach Brian Daboll has tabbed Russell Wilson as starting quarterback. Big Blue traded back into the first round for Jackson Dart. Winston is in no man's land between the team's current and potential future starting quarterbacks. The Giants should try to trade him for early day 3 draft pick. Winston has some value as a backup. Last year, he threw for 2,121 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions in 12 games, 7 starts with the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, no.
So I've talked about my love for that guy quite a bit. Not as your starter, but as you know,
he's blocked you on Facebook even.
He has. Like, listen, he has a restraining order. It's very awkward now because he's in Jersey with me.
I know. Gabagool.
So, like, I can't go that far north on the turnpike. Yeah, I can't go that far north on the turnpike. So when I go to New York City, I have to get off early and go around. It's awkward. Go down 78, go through the Lincoln Tunnel. Yeah. Anyway.
I don't hear any more about you getting around and going off.
I'll just keep on getting off and on. But listen, just even if he doesn't even have to start, like the value you have with Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston as your number 1 and 2 with your brand new, hopefully franchise quarterback at number 3 has so much value that this is your starting quarterback and Russell Wilson, who was drafted way late, went to the Super Bowl twice, has done multiple great things, has been deep ball, very successful in his career. And then you have the number 1 overall who has been the elite backup quarterback in this league.
Yep.
And you can learn a lot from both those guys and how to like balance yourself in between that and do what you have to do. Because like Russell Wilson inflated his head a little bit, hearsay. And like he had to come back to reality and like help himself. Like that's a story. That's something you need to tell a young quarterback. And same thing like with Jameis Winston. Like, hey, like I was number 1 overall. Like this is like the story. I thought I was going to have it all, but this is what you got to do. Like maybe I didn't work as hard as I should have. Russell Wilson comes in. It's like I worked hard every day, put an extra 2 hours into the practice, just throwing the ball, doing this and that, and I got to the Super Bowl. So like those are stories you want to hear to your rookie quarterback, who's hopefully going to be your franchise quarterback.
Yeah, and it's also the roles they play, though. So, Jameis Winston got a 2-year contract, guys. So, this year, again, you got Russell Wilson as your starter. You got Jameis as your backup. Again, you can go ahead and put Jackson Dart in a spot where you keep him as your 3rd quarterback. He is the emergency 3rd quarterback, meaning you don't actually put him on the active roster, but if both Winston and Russell Wilson get injured, you can then bring him on and he can play. That's that new role they developed last year, the year before, whichever year it was. Yeah. So
but everyone was valued at high at the quarterback, second.
Well, that's because of what happened with the Eagles and Niners. Let's be honest. But then what happens is you can go ahead and keep him on your roster. He's hidden away. He never has to actually go into a game. And then what happens is Tommy DeVito sits on the practice squad. And then if there's an injury, Jameis Winston's your starter, Tommy DeVito's your backup, and Jackson Dart is still in his proper spot as being a 3rd quarterback that you don't actually have to put in the field ever, basically. Like having Jameis Winston on this roster gives you that flexibility. By taking him out of that equation, you take away the flexibility and you put yourself in a scenario where you may be forced to put Jackson Dart out there before you want to. And you know what? For him to suggest an early day 3 pick Like, I get it. A round 4 pick, round 5 pick is nothing to sniff at. You get some decent players out of there. Look at some of the guys that we've gotten the last couple of years, the Darius Slade,
Tracy.
the Tyrone Tracy's, exactly. Like, there's a lot of bad names in that mix too in those front spots too.
There is, but I mean, you're playing roulette when you go down there. But
what I'm getting at is it worth potentially having to rush your rookie quarterback in? Like, that's what you're looking at. And then next year, Russell Wilson's on a 1-year contract, guys. So assuming we don't keep Russell Wilson because we want to put Jackson Dart in there next year, then you still got Jameis Winston as your backup quarterback. And you know what you did? Not only did you give him a chance to start while still having someone there as a backup if need be, that's legit, but you gave him continuity because Jameis Winston, I'm telling you guys right now, Jameis Winston is going to take this kid under his wing. I just personality type he has. Again, I'm not to toot my own horn here, but I'm gonna because I have an ego. I'm really typically very good at reading people and what kind of personality types they are. Jameis Winston is going to be that ultimate teammate, and he's going to take this kid under his wing, and he's going to teach him how to do things. And you know what? One of the things that we talked about, this past offseason that really didn't get talked about much back in 2022, because quite frankly, we didn't know about it, was what Davis Webb did when he took, Daniel Jones under his wing back in 2022. It doesn't always have to be the Russell Wilsons of the world that do that job. Sometimes it is the backup or third string. We talked about it last episode there on Thursday about how, Jordan Palmer is this quarterback guru now as far as helping train some of the best quarterbacks that are in the NFL now, the Josh Allens and Patrick Mahomes and all. Well, he was a crappy football player in the field, like not to be rude about it, but he was never a starter. He was never a guy who was looked at as a franchise quarterback.
Yeah,
it's always had to be those guys.
No. I mean, typically it's not. Like, some of the best players make the worst coaches, and some of the worst players make the best coaches, because sometimes when you have the ability and the natural talent that comes to you, like you don't know how to express it, you just do it. But the guys that sat there and worked on those perfections, worked out the kinks just to get themselves the ability to have a shot to play in the NFL or at the highest level. Like, and listen, that's a lot of talent, but a lot of dedication, a lot of skill. You should say it's not talent, skill, because you put that work in, you learn that craft. Usually, those are the guys that can teach that to the next guy going down.
Yep.
So,
and like I said, having him 2 years with him is a big thing as well, because Russell Wilson's probably gone next year if things go well, which means that you get the chance now to keep Jameis Winston there as a constant for those, at least for 2 years to start off there. And that's a huge thing, because Jameis Winston can walk him through week by week as a starter. Hey, you did this throw, I would have done this a little different, whatever that, and I really think he'll do that with him. I really think he'll take him under his wing. Now, I'll say this as well, though. He's never really had that role. Like, there's been guys like Marcus Mariota and all that have had to do that a couple times with younger quarterbacks. Winston hasn't done that. So that's the one issue you run into is, could he not maybe give the best advice, because we don't know how he is at an advice capacity. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know that. We haven't seen it yet. That's a possibility. Not to play devil's advocate.
Just through his interviews and just to see like how he is as a person and talking around, like, listen, he's a fun guy to be around. Maybe his delivery on his advice isn't the best, but like, I think he'll give his best thought on the situation. And sometimes it's not the best, but sometimes hearing not the best advice is the best advice you could hear. Because then you go, because listen, how many times have you heard someone say like, "Oh, you should definitely do this"? And you went, "That's definitely not the I need to do this." Sometimes it works.
I know. I get it. I do. So, like I said, we'll see. I think he'll be a good, solid role model kind of guy. And Jackson Dart even said in the pre-draft process, if he could pick anybody to be his teammate, he said Jameis Winston. That's exactly who he said. So, and you got to wonder if the Giants heard that, because they had already, zeroed him months prior to the draft, apparently, from everything you read now. Did that maybe solidify them getting Jameis Winston? Remember, they brought him in, and it wasn't an immediate signing. It took a little while afterwards. So it makes you wonder if that was part of that process. That's for sure. So things that make you go, All right.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
If you like that clip,
then you will love the full episodes too.
Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.